would have thought that this person, lying in bed eating chips, was actually the mighty and powerful strongest female demon lord? Ever since she started living in the hero's house, she has been indulging in a life of eating, drinking and having fun every day. Chips have become something she can't be without even for a moment. The hero brings her delicious food on time every day. Even the journey from the living room to the kitchen is done by flying with magical wings. Eventually her stomach swells up like a balloon. Holding the chips, she asks, "What kind of poison are you feeding me with these? I feel like the more I eat the lazier I become. Under the guise of gourmet food you're using these slow poisons to paralyze me, hoping to completely corrupt me." The hero carrying freshly cooked lunch responds, "High-calorie foods like chips will definitely accumulate fat if eaten in excess, and naturally they make a person lazy." The demon lord looks at the fat on her stomach puzzled. Then with a snap of her fingers she activated deep abyss magic. Instantly her figure swiftly returned to normal. It turns out this magic could convert all the fat into magical power. The hero watched this scene in amazement. The demon lord taunted, "Once again I have thwarted your scheming. How disappointing for you." The hero said embarrassedly that "You were right. Let's eat." The demon lord picked up her knife and fork. Saliva involuntarily started to flow. The next second she was gobbling up her plate of food. The hero quickly urged, "Eat up. If it's not enough I'll make more." Hearing this the demon lord paused in her actions, thinking that this sinister hero was implying she was too weak, waiting to fatten her up before killing her. At that moment the hero turned to grab dessert, completely unaware that behind him, the demon lord was on the verge of a rampage. Just as she was preparing to battle the hero to the death, the hero brought out her favorite pudding from the refrigerator. Her eyes immediately lit up at the sight of the pudding. This perfect little cherry pudding was fragrant. The demon lord was instantly happy to eat the pudding, completely forgetting about the duel. The hero also showed a smile, glad that this demon lord wasn't too difficult to handle. As long as the food is right, she can be calmed down. The only hero capable of defeating the demon lord spends his days hiding in the vegetable garden. The system is driven mad and breaking down from frustration, simply because in this world, the female demon lord Elisa herself pulled out the hero's sacred sword, unified the continent, and established a world where all races are equal and harmonious. Even the people of the continent spontaneously organized to form an anti-hero alliance. Ironically, the very human rulers who were originally opposed to him have become his staunch supporters. 1,000 years ago, strongest demon lord in history Elizabeth emerged, quickly organized the demon lord's army against the continent, and launched an attack on all races. Under the overwhelming power of the female demon lord, territories of various races were successively occupied. As the last human kingdom fell internally, Demon Lord Elizabeth officially ascended to the throne, gaining absolute rule over all races. But there were always resistors no matter the time. High Priest Barrow always believed in the legend that a hero would ultimately defeat the female demon lord. Watching the stubborn Barrow, the human prince couldn't stand it and knocked him to the ground with a kick. Even on the ground Barrow continued to curse, "You human traitor, to think I treated you as a hero in training." Hearing this Malfoy was completely enraged, his body half transforming into a demon to strike a fatal blow to Barrow. Just then Elizabeth intervened, stopping him. "You just said I am destined to fail, and that the future ultimately sides with humans, right? And what about this legendary hero you mentioned? You'd better explain clearly to me, or I have many ways to make you speak." Hearing this Barrow trembled in fear, and quickly said, "I saw in the prophecy that when the hero draws the sacred sword, it will be the end of the demon race." Hearing this, Elizabeth glanced at the sacred sword in the center of the hall. "Interesting. I look forward to his arrival." As years passed by, Elizabeth had already been waiting for a full 15 years. Under her governance, all rules of inequality between the races were abolished, and the entire world entered an unprecedented era of peace and prosperity. Even out of concern that this hard-won peace could be shattered, an anti-hero alliance emerged. For a full 15 years, Elizabeth sent countless underlings to gather news of the hero, only to be met with disappointment time after time. And Barrow, who had initially resisted fiercely, now turned out to be the president of the anti-hero alliance. Upon seeing Barrow again, Elizabeth couldn't hold back anymore, and she directly seized Barrow, demanding, "You need to explain properly where exactly this so-called hero has gone." Barrow himself began to doubt, wondering if the prophecy book might not be entirely accurate. In her anger Elizabeth waved her hand, and slammed Barrow into the wall. "I reign supreme over the world. I did not rise to the pinnacle of the world, just to be a stepping stone for some legendary hero. Over the years I have mastered all the magic of the hero's continent, just waiting for him to challenge me. Now not even a shadow of a hero appears. Since no hero comes to draw the sword, then let me do it myself." In front of everyone, Elizabeth gripped the sacred sword with both hands. The next second a tremendous magical power erupted from within her. Everyone in the hall trembled under this formidable aura. As Elizabeth's power continued to surge, a vast wave of demonic energy shot into the sky. When the dust settled, the sacred sword had been drawn by Elizabeth. Looking at the sacred sword in her hands, a smile formed at the corner of Elizabeth's mouth. Who said that only heroes could draw the sacred sword? At the same time, Elizabeth seemed to sense something, her gaze as if penetrating through space. She saw a small village thousands of miles away. It seems this is the hero's location. Without another word, Elizabeth activated a teleportation spell and vanished. Meanwhile, inside the novice village, not long ago he was just an ordinary office worker, riding the subway and watching farming videos on his phone. He couldn't help but sigh. I wish I could live such a comfortable life too. The next second he found himself in another world, guided by the novice system. The hero quickly learned basic survival skills. But when the system announced that the novice training was complete, and he could leave the village to challenge the demon lord, the hero was reluctant. Isn't it quite nice right now? Why must I leave this place? After leaving the village I'd have to live a nomadic life full of adventures. Isn't the pastoral life here good? Besides, I don't really want to vanquish some great demon lord. Farming is the true essence of life. Moreover, the novice village had a time barrier in place, which could completely conceal it. Thus the hero began his days of farming and hunting by day, and meditating by night. May you be found quickly until one day may the great demon lord quickly slay you. Then he disappeared. But the hero was not the least bit panicked, still living his happy pastoral life as usual. Just as he was preparing to chop wood and cook, suddenly the sky flashed with lightning, and thunder roared. The next second the demon lord appeared amidst the thunder and lightning. Legendary hero, I have finally found you. But the hero was only concerned about his drying fish and clothes, hurrying back to collect them, completely unaware of the demon lord who quietly appeared behind him. After collecting the salted fish and clothes, the man just breathed a sigh of relief. And his pet dog Wang Kai began barking incessantly at the sky. Seeing Wang Kai's unusual behavior, the hero then noticed the anomaly in the sky. Is there something up there? Hearing this, the demon lord in the sky snorted coldly. Is this a hero, daring to refer to me as a thing? Only then did the hero realize there was someone above him, and quickly began to greet. But isn't the novice village supposed to be absolutely safe? How can an outsider come in? Elizabeth, with a sacred sword in hand, decided to test him first, and then threw the sacred sword at the man. Just as the sacred sword was about to reach the hero, it suddenly turned and transformed into a long sword that appeared in the man's hand. The next second, the figure holding the sacred sword, it seemed as if the prophecy from the legends overlapped with reality. However, the hero, now aware, looked around bewildered at everything happening. What exactly is going on here? After confirming the hero's identity with the sacred sword, Elizabeth showed no mercy. Her attacks were lethal. She unleashed a forbidden magic, which she had mastered over 15 years, into the sky, watching a meteor spell ready to strike. I've never even left the novice village, yet the demon lord has found me here. It seems no matter how much I avoid it, a destined battle with the demon lord is inevitable. Then he tossed the sacred sword aside. Up until now, I've been just a novice, yet the ultimate boss has already come knocking. But I should know by now that I was fortunate to have such a happy time here. This period of joy makes dying without regrets possible. Let me and this house return to zero together. Then he slammed the door shut with a snap. But Elizabeth didn't see it that way. The hero's sneer before entering the house seemed to say, "Come at me if you dare." How absurd, such arrogance. An enraged Elizabeth waved her hand, and a massive abyssal magic instantly rushed towards the hero's house. However, at that moment Wang Kai showed unusual behavior. Its brain began to work rapidly, and just in the nick of time, Wang Kai finished its calculations, instantly switched to battle mode and unleashed numerous weapons. All missiles launched, colliding with the meteors in the sky. But the demon lord misinterpreted this scene, thinking so the hero is so arrogant because he has such a high-level magical artifact. The demon lord was furious. Sending just a magical artifact to fight? That's really underestimating me. Then she unleashed 30% of her power. I'm not interested in testing anymore. Let's end this. Destroy. The next moment a world-ending spell hurled rapidly towards the ground. However, at this moment the mechanical dog's brain instantly overloaded, and after 25 seconds, just as the meteor was about to strike, a mechanical sound announced, "Calculation complete." Dog's lower jaw opened, ejecting a black sphere. Energy gathered within the sphere, and the next second it shot up towards the apocalyptic magic in the sky. Upon contact, the magic exploded with a bang, while the demon lord Elizabeth watched calmly. Useless. Just disappear along with this land. But the next second the apocalyptic magic was enveloped by a quantum black hole, erupting with a powerful suction, and instantly vanished into the black hole. Soon the azure sky was clear again, leaving demon lord Elizabeth astonished by the scene before her, unable to believe that her world-ending magic had been so easily neutralized. What exactly was the hero doing inside the house? In reality, the hero was lying in bed waiting for death. The demon lord slowly descended outside, wanting to closely examine this magical artifact. The mechanical dog glared fiercely at the demon lord, barking incessantly at her. The demon lord laughed, not angry. Seems I was the one underestimated in the end, but I have only used 30% of my power so far. Let me show you what true terror is. Then she entered a demonic berserk state. She quickly charged at the dog, and a massive collision sound echoed. 2.5 hours later, the hero inside the house was sleeping soundly. When he opened his eyes, he found that the expected death did not occur. There was no more noise outside. He decided to open the door to check the situation outside. His heart raced, worrying that the demon lord might still be waiting outside. As he cautiously opened the door, only the remnants of the battle remained in the yard. The demon lord, covered in wounds, was holding the dog's head, and with one strong squeeze she crushed its casing. Seeing this, the hero could not help but cry out, "Wang Kai." The demon lord casually threw Wang Kai aside, and approached with a menacing air. "Such a pity. I have completely destroyed your prized artifact," she declared. The hero, trembling, replied, "It's okay. Can't we just sit down and talk this through?" "Sure, but let's talk after I've destroyed you," she said before finishing her sentence. When suddenly the demon lord's strength reached its limit, she staggered towards him, and ultimately collapsed completely, falling to the ground with a thud. The hero was momentarily confused. After all, he had slept for a full 2.5 hours inside. Stepping outside to such a scene, he then went forward to help up the demon lord, and asked softly, "You okay?" But at that moment the demon lord's power completely dissipated, and her garments faded away. The demon lord stood naked, in front of the hero. The ordinarily modest hero had never seen such a sight, and immediately his nose bled like a fountain. As night fell, the hero had dressed the demon lord in his own clothes, and laid her bound hands on the bed to rest. Suddenly the demon lord woke up, annoyed with herself. "I was utterly defeated, and lost in such an embarrassing way. He didn't take the chance to kill me, but instead bound me. Is he trying to show off to the world? To flaunt his might?" Then the demon lord gathered magic in her hands to break free, but the hands seemed to possess anti-magic powers. Instantly her strength dissipated. The demon lord realized that these were another type of legendary magical artifact she had never seen before. She began to wonder just how much strength the hero was still hiding. Strange items on the table looked anything but ordinary. It seems this hero might be much more sinister than I imagined. I underestimated you too much. Just then the hero came in with dinner. "I've prepared some food for you, to help you regain your strength. I will never bow down or beg you for mercy. Can we have a good talk then?" Then the hero noticed the bindings on her hands. "Ah, right, the hands. I did it just in case. You know how terrifying you can be." He quickly waved his hand to clarify, "That's not what I meant. You know you're very powerful. I think there's been some misunderstanding between us. I'll release your hands now. Let's have a good talk." Demon Lord Elizabeth looked at the hero, but she felt differently. In her view, the hero is quite arrogant. Mistakenly so. "From the beginning you misunderstood. You think you're so powerful that you dared to challenge me. Completely, utterly wrong. If you want to live, then follow my commands precisely. This is clearly a threat." Soon the hero unbound her hands, grinning broadly to show his goodwill. I've unbound your hands. I truly mean no harm. Let's talk this out. There's no need for violence." The demon lord turned away with a cold expression, thinking to herself, "The situation is very unfavorable for me now. A true strong person knows when to yield. I'll endure this for now. You'll regret your arrogance." The hero, unable to gauge the demon lord's thoughts, turned to leave. "Rest for now. We'll talk more later." Meanwhile, plotting his next move, "Everyone must be curious why I didn't finish off the demon lord while she was unconscious. But this is a world of swords and magic. A demon lord having several resurrection skills is nothing unusual, and while I can manage to kill a chicken or fish to make soup, killing a demon lord is something I'd never dare do. However, resolving the conflict between a demon lord and a hero doesn't necessarily have to involve fighting. If I sincerely open my heart to her, and show her that I pose no threat, and make friends with her, then I can continue to enjoy my farming life here." "Damn, it's still talking to himself," the hero muttered, while the demon lord thought he was still mocking her for being delusional. The hero then turned his attention to Wang Kai, his companion for many years. "Wang Kai has been badly damaged, huh? I wonder if there's still a chance to repair him." Because the hero is solely focused on farming and unwilling to kill the demon lord, this mechanical Wang Kai was chosen by the system to be the hero. With the hero's enhancements in this other world, surprisingly, he managed to fight the demon lord to a draw, but in the end the demon lord destroyed its shell. Yet there are many more Wang Kais like that one in the cupboard. Just now, the hero looked at the damaged Wang Kai with regret. How could it get so wrecked? The unbound demon lord couldn't help but mockingly say, "How come this thing is this your most powerful magical artifact?" The hero was speechless. "You could say that. It's newly developed." The demon lord secretly felt triumphant. While we've been talking, I've secretly used abyssal magic to rapidly restore my powers. And now that you've lost your strongest magical device, it's like you've lost an arm and a leg. The scales of victory are now completely in my favor. I'm truly sorry for breaking your thing. The hero then opened the back panel of Wang Kai. It's okay, as long as the memory card is still there. He was completely unaware of the demon lord behind him, who was preparing to unleash apocalyptic magic. Still talking to himself, body can't be repaired. Then he opened the cabinet door. He revealed stacks of Wang Kai robots stored inside. Fortunately, I made plenty of them ahead of time right here. So you really don't need to feel sorry, haha. The demon lord's actions abruptly halted, as she stared dumbfounded at this scene. The hero then took out one Wang Kai, and inserted the memory card into its head. The next second Wang Kai's face lit up again. The hero with his hands in his pockets said sheepishly, Wang Kai is quite fun to have around, but sometimes it can be quite mischievous. So I usually only activate one at home. In the demon lord's eyes, the hero and his sinister gadgets seemed to be gaping at her with a mocking grin, laughing at her overestimation of herself. The demon lord suddenly dismissed the idea of attacking. It's fine then. Just then she smelled a pleasant fragrance, and curiously asked, what is that smell? I saw you had fainted, so I made you something to eat to warm you up. On the table was freshly made meat porridge and dumplings. The demon lord stubbornly insisted that only the weak need to eat. I have reached a transcendent state. I don't need such things. Yet her gaze remained fixed on the food, and her stomach honestly growled. Seeing this, the hero became even more convinced that using delicious food to resolve conflicts could definitely work. All these are made from the vegetables and grains I personally farmed, all natural and free of pollutants. Please have a taste. Culinary demon lord reluctantly picked up a dumpling with chopsticks, and then brought it to her mouth, under the lure of the aroma. The moment she ate, the demon lord's body trembled slightly. The hero watched nervously. Although I'm confident in my cooking, but she is a noble demon lord. Would she really appreciate something from a novice village? The demon lord then picked up another dumpling with chopsticks, and soon all the dumplings were gone. She sat on the bed with a blissful smile. Each bite filled her mouth with juice, bursting like fireworks, an unadorned natural delight, and it also contains a high concentration of magical essence. This world actually has such exquisite delicacies. The demon lord's expression was one of utter bliss. She continued to chew the last dumpling in her mouth. The moment she swallowed it, the demon lord sensed something unusual. Her pupils contracted slightly, her heartbeat quickened. It was like the eruptive satisfaction of a volcano. Her face flushed slightly, and her body began to sweat and heat up. Unable to resist, she asked the hero what exactly he had added. The hero's eyes widened. I added some chili to suit my taste. Can't the demon lord handle spicy food? At this, the demon lord's misunderstanding of the hero deepened. Clearly you had no good intentions. This evil hero imprisoned me just to use me for his research. Being a hero who prefers farming over vanquishing the demon lord frustrated the system into choosing Wang Kai as the hero. The combat-ready Wang Kai actually managed to capture the demon lord. The peace-loving hero then brought out carefully prepared food, hoping to resolve the conflict with the demon lord. But the demon lord, who had never eaten dumplings before, ended up sweating profusely from the spice. This furthered her misunderstanding that he was an evil hero. She thought he just wanted to use her for experiments. Suddenly the hero had an idea, and then brought out a bowl of porridge. Century egg and lean pork porridge, cooling and soothing. The demon lord, still gasping from the spice, was being given antidote while being poisoned. Finding herself toyed with and at his mercy, but considering the intense and unusual heat, it was too uncomfortable. Demon lord scooped up a spoonful of porridge, tentatively bringing it to her lips. At the moment it touched her mouth, the demon lord's pupils contracted, as if she were in the sky, bathed in the brilliant sunlight.